All right, the clock has started on the Carolina Hurricanes. Let's try to figure out who this group is now after some major changes. This is a perennial NHL sort of favorite to crack into the top 5, right? You would think that this team should have at least made the third round, maybe even the Stanley Cup final by now. They are so much more interesting since Tom Dundon took over, so much more competitive since Rod Brind'Amour took over, but major changes. You let Dougie Hamilton go in favor of the questionable for a few reasons Tony DeAngelo.
Right.
Ethan Bear is a good pickup.
Yep.
And, you know, let's be honest, they have some big changes at goalies first. We'll get to that. But first, let's start with the elephant in the room. Dougie Hamilton for Tony DeAngelo, essentially. You let Dougie Hamilton walk. Last we heard, their offer to him was like $7 million a season. He ended up signing for $9 million in New Jersey. You bring in Tony DeAngelo, who was bought out, kicked off the Rangers last year for $1 million, and frankly, put a lot of pressure on one of the NHL's best coaches to sort out what many have seen and what we've seen publicly is character issues.
I mean, just character issues, I think, is putting it lightly.
It's a big blanket.
The Carolina Hurricanes, I think, look at him and they go, yeah, but he's a defenseman who can maybe get us 40, 50 points.
Mm-hmm. I would also make the swap Dougie Hamilton for Ian Cole, Ethan Bear, and Tony DeAngelo.
They're trying to replace Dougie by committee.
You get 3 good bodies there.
Yeah. Capable of scoring, capable of defending the team as a whole. I mean, and that's one of the good things about Carolina. I mean, Jacob Slavin won the Norris,
right? And I mean,
that doesn't change.
What's still left after Dougie Hamilton is this is a very, very good team. Slavin, DeAngelo, Brady Shea, Brett Pesce, Ian Cole, Ethan Bear. That's not a bad starting 6, right?
They're a bit of a jack of all trades, master of none team, and I wonder if they're trying to be master of scoring a lot of goals because they're going to be able to do that.
We also can't forget that this offseason, which had a lot of odd turns for the Carolina Hurricanes, included a restricted free agent signing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Jesperi Kotkaniemi.
Who
I can't believe that wasn't the first thing we said.
Right now, he is slotting in at left wing, third line.
It's a ridiculous team because you're adding Kotkaniemi to Svechnikov, Aho, and Teravainen. Like, that's deadly. And then Kotkaniemi is the fourth one of that quartet there. It's awesome. They should be able to score a whole bunch. And then if the goaltending stands up, Carolina's going to be unbeatable.
I have to say you're missing Martin Necas too.
No, oh yeah,
Martin Necas is my favorite player.
He's really good.
He's so electric. He's Kaprizov East. Like
wow. All right, calm down.
All right.
Martin Necas is the best player in the NHL.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
He's the good thing about Carolina is most of their roster you can count on getting better.
Yes.
Here's the issue: they completely revamped their goaltending. And kind of needlessly.
Well, okay, so I don't want to take it there yet. I want to stay on the forwards for a second.
Okay,
yes,
okay.
the goaltending's a whole story, but we got 10 minutes to fill here, so let's run it through.
Kotkaniemi, in a way, did this to himself, and the Hurricanes, I mean, played a part in this. We're going to be laser focused on him. Mm-hmm. We understand why he's making $6 million. We know he's not going to make $6 million going forward, unless he's unreal. But if he plays at a level less than a $6 million player, people are going to grill him. So third line, left wing, he's already not a center, right? I assume he's going to go all up and down that lineup as a lot of new players do. But all eyes are going to be on him because he could have a contract locked up as soon as January 1st because that was one of the theories behind the offer sheet is they discussed a long-term deal. They sign him to the $6 million or whatever it was to get him out of Montreal. And then January 1st, when they can extend him, it'll be at a lower number over long-term.
Which makes sense.
It does.
Makes a lot of sense.
It's a creative way of doing things.
And he's going to play left wing at least right now from how he's slotted in, but who knows? If he plays with Jordan Staal, it's not the worst idea to have him try to win some faceoffs from time to time as well. Like see if he can work in there. A couple names on this team that, at least in the forward group, that I don't think get enough attention, but I think are actually very smart moves. Obviously, Nino Niederreiter. Been around forever, El Nino, and has always produced. And he's still a top 6 guy. I mean, he's one of those guys. I'm always fascinated by him because he always seems to slip under the radar. He was with the Wylde, was he not?
He was
Like, I
with
can't
the
even remember the
Future.
hell he's played.
Yeah, he's weird. It's underappreciated. The Hurricanes are full of underappreciated players. They're players who people love analytically, but this hasn't translated to playoff success, and this is the problem, right? And they're in a category of like Colorado, for example, where they have had some playoff success. I know we're a Rumor Leaf fans here. But they should be in that Final Four conversation.
Nino Niederreiter in 56 games had 20 goals last year. That's a contributor. That's amazing. He's been playing since 2010. Now, beyond that,
That's a vet.
yeah,
That's an 11-year vet.
Derek Stepan. Now, I know that he's not the Derek Stepan that he was in New York or even the one that was traded to Arizona, but if he's your fourth line center, you're not upset.
No, I mean, he didn't have a great time in Ottawa. Not a lot of people did. Like, we sort of overrate them a little bit.
The Sens?
Yeah, because
It's because the attitude that they play with.
They played with attitude, and also they weren't as bad as we thought they would be, but they were still pretty bad, right? Like, at the end of the day, if you look at the standings, I mean, you don't have to do... Ottawa needed more out of their depth than Carolina does. Carolina doesn't need Derek Stepan to score a ton of goals.
It seemed like that was their motive for this offseason. Hey, we're going to bring in some other pieces around our core, because it was Kotkaniemi, it was Derek Stepan, and then it was Josh Levo.
Right.
Like, they're bringing in these pieces around to bolster up the bottom six, because they're like, our top six is good.
And Levo, there's another underappreciated player who can score, and he's coming off a tough season, but if he's healthy, he can play with a little bit of snarl as well.
Now goalies. Mrazek out. Nedeljkovic out. Reimer out. We got Anderson and Ranta. And it's not a cheap pairing. I mean, that's $6 million in goaltending right
they
there.
spent more on this than they could have just re-signed Nedeljkovic for.
They
Right.
could have just re-signed Nedeljkovic and brought one of Reimer or Mrazek back for almost the same price. You could have gone Nedeljkovic Ranta.
Right. Yeah. Oh,
But
without question.
they didn't see it, and I wonder what's going on with the evaluation of talent in Carolina. Are they ahead of the curve because they didn't want to do the Dougie Hamilton deal, because that leaves them open to Drew Doughty or Erik Karlsson situation, where some people look at the deals as they're not living up to it. So they're like, no, we're going to do the smart thing, I guess, smart in quotes thing, and not sign him. We're not going to pay Nedeljkovic this money because we don't believe him. We're going to get in the
$2.5-3 million.
Yeah, in the Nedeljkovic situation, it wasn't even that much money.
Right, and
No.
and then, but here's the thing: you've spent $6.5 million on two players that have missed significant time each of the last two seasons.
And Ranta more than that.
Yeah,
That guy's never in the net.
and
That's
listen,
a problem for a goalie.
and then on top of that, they're both on the wrong side of 30.
It's
mystifying.
You to hit on a draft pick with Nedeljkovic is a victory. To only get one season and a third-round pick out of it, it doesn't make sense.
And it doesn't. Okay, and I know a lot of people were like, okay, well, he's not like the next Patrick Roy or whatever, but he's still a pretty good goaltender.
He proved that he can be good on your team, and this is the thing: not every player can be good on every team.
Right.
He might be garbage on Detroit.
So what?
Detroit's defense is not Carolina's.
Best case scenario, what we've seen with Freddie Anderson is there's some hip and knee issues, right? We know that. And Ranta, it could be any number of things. What's the best case scenario that's reasonable to predict with these two?
Freddie Anderson's 2019 Freddie Anderson, you get 65 games out of a starting goaltender. Like, that's a entirely possible thing.
You might have to.
It was just a blip, and he's back to old Freddie.
Yeah, like if you get Freddie, I mean, there's a reason he was an unrestricted free agent and still had to take a pay cut. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't even just with the Leafs. He hit the market. He had to take a pay cut. But Freddie at Freddie's peak.
Top
That's
10.
a great
Scary.
goal, top 10 goalie in the league. Yes.
Yep.
Dependable each and every night. He had a very good performance this preseason. I think he's top 36 at 37. It's the longevity. And the Hurricanes, coming from a Leaf fan, I hope Ranta stays healthy because they have to take the net away from Freddie. He can't play 60 games.
Are the Canes finally ready to make a swing at the round 3 or round 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals? We'll find out. But I do want to know your projection for them in this division. Where do you place the Carolina Hurricanes in the Metro Division? Jesse Blake.
I have them third.
I hate this because I worked on my notes for an hour last night, and
And you left them at home.
I left them at home, and I had my paper in
most
front of me
people would
for the
just
Western Conference.
email it to themselves.
I know,
Steve's
but
like, nah, I'm going to write it down.
I liked what's stupid is I typed it up, and then I like writing notes on it, so I printed it out.
Uh-huh.
And now I don't know.
So where are they finishing?
I need the division in front of me.
Okay.
I have no idea. I'm naked. Okay.
This is great.
Yes,
This is terrible.
super
Adam,
good.
you pick.
Here. Jesse's got it right there for you.
I have the Metro here.
Adam, for the love of God, go.
Carolina Hurricanes will finish third, according to my pick.
Oh, same here.
Second.
Wow. Okay. Curious to hear how we go after this. Time is up.